Welcome back guys on my YouTube channel. Today is slightly different video because I'm gonna show you a bike build that we did here in the workshop. Right before Africa race, we had very limited time, only 20 days to develop, manufacture a kit to go on the Beta 2024 models to go and race Africa race with Andrea Gava and Francesco Muratori. But with no further ado, I'll start explaining all the modifications we made while Giacomo and Giulio will put the B-rolls so that you can see what I'm speaking about. To start with, we had to manufacture a completely brand new frame clamp. That is the most important part for, the Nav Tower and all the instruments, because a lot of weight goes on it, because at Africa race you have the Erie track, you have the road book, the speedo caps, you even have some tools and some spare levers. So pretty heavy load, and I was very happy to say that the frame clamp we designed worked phenomenally, as both riders went really well, and actually at one point of the race they were fighting for the stage win. At one point Francesco Muratori was beating Paul Tarres, Botturi and Ceruti, and I was super excited, keeping in mind the engine was completely stock. In fact, on the engine side then, pushing so hard, one bolt of the oil cooler, because we added an oil cooler, got loose and Francesco lost all the oil, and so he had to stop and lose a lot of hours. From the Nav Tower point of view, that is the Nav Tower we also placed on all the previous models, beta models. This tower is available. I'll put the link in the description because it's manufactured by Rebel Exports and it's a made in Italy product. You know all the features, but we have the transparent windshield so that you can see it's made very aerodynamic, so it can give a good airflow at high speeds, and we have the separate headlight mask so you have no internal reflection and you can clean the lights. Then on the tower we can place many different instruments, from F2R to MIGTEC Roadbook, Trip Masters, speedo caps and so on. Moving back on the bike, then we have the Selle dalla Valle seat cover to make the riding much more comfortable on long runs, but also because going into Morocco it was very cold and in the morning there was high humidity. With this quick dry leather, the seat would always be dry. Clearly we had to improve the fuel autonomy of the bike in order to be able to race, so we went with the front IMS 15-liter tank, and on the rear we manufactured two 7-liter tanks per side in aluminium, with also a rigid structure, a rigid subframe, because the beta bikes have a plastic composite subframe, but is not even intended to ride in two on that bike, so we were almost sure the subframe would have collapsed with all the weight of rear tanks. So keep that in mind if you're making rear tanks for your beta. You want to make it more rigid and you'll need a solid structure. So we made this subframe in aluminium, which made it very handy because we made everything external so that removing two bolts, we could remove the whole subframe with the tanks, and that made it very easy and fast for the mechanics to work on the bike. Since I get the requests really a lot on the rear tanks and then on the low exhaust that we will speak about after, these products are exclusive only for bike builds. So I will personally install these products. They'll never be sold to any workshop, to any private. No one can have them. We designed them and manufactured them, and we decided that since it can be tricky and if not installed correctly you can encounter issues, we prefer to only have it here on Bike Build. So don't ask me. If you want, contact either Rebel Exports or me for a full custom Dakar or Africa race rally build. With the two rear tanks, we had to lower the exhaust, so even to have less heat around the engine, we went with the full low exhaust. This was developed in collaboration with Arrow, Italian manufacturer that is known because also makes the OEM exhaust on the Fantic rally bike. So they developed this really nice rally exhaust which hangs on the side of one of the tanks. It performs very well, it dissipates better the heat, but again we had to do a further work in order to protect the low part of the exhaust, because If not, it would be very exposed. For that, we went and developed a carbon bash plate so that it would go around, but at the same time wouldn't be so heavy. Nowadays, no more is required to have 3 liters of water on the bike, so we didn't need to put any water reserve in the bash plate, so it's just a simple bash plate made in carbon. Moving back to the front of the bike, I'll explain to you a bit the instruments we had on. So on the handlebar, we had the ERTF GPS, and on the handlebar, we also installed the thumb switch to command both trip masters and to command the road book holder. We went with foam grips because since it was a very long race, this would help with vibrations and make it more comfortable for the rider. Sometimes I get asked to put foam grips, but it depends a lot on what type of riding you do. If you go to the desert, okay. If you ride here in Europe, you don't want foam grips because if you crash and there is mud, you have absolutely no grip on the handlebar. Then in the front, we have a MIGTEC roadbook holder. This is very solid and I personally use it at Dakar. And 2 trip masters, one normal trip master and one GPS, so a Max 2 and a Max G. Why this choice and why not Speedo caps for Africa race? This was Francesco's first ever desert rally. He had never seen a dune and he is a supercross rider. He was also national Italian supercross champion. For this reason, it was very important he wouldn't override and go too fast. So we decided to put 2 trip masters so that he would always have to focus also on the ERTF and, really understand how rallies work because he didn't have much experience. But even with the 2 trip master and no Speedo cap, he was beating everyone on certain stages. So that just proves that if you're a very fast rider, it's not the instruments you have that makes a difference, but your riding skills and your navigation skills. Well guys, I've been away for a while from YouTube. In the next weeks, we will come with many more videos. I have some very cool Tenere builds that I want to show you and other interesting things. Let me know down in the comments what you think about these beta bikes. They have proven to be great bikes because they got all the way to Africa race, and 2 years ago I built them for Dakar and they finished Dakar. Be sure to follow me on Instagram for live content and to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao!